Ladies and gentlemen, I've been making videos for well over 6 years at this point, and I have spectated, observed, or analyzed, or played tens of thousands of chess games. Likely more than 100,000 if you add it all up. And still, this game manages to surprise me, show me new things. What I'm going to show you today is going to horrify you. You're going to laugh, you might cry, and when I reveal the ratings of the players at the end, I don't really know what else to say, to be totally honest. Let's just get into it, all right? Because there's no way this is possible. Now, our protagonists are named Sheriff and Dive. Both of them get honorary Grandmaster titles for making it into a Gotham video, and here we go. The game opens with the move e4, and Black responds with the move c5. The Sicilian defense. A very good opening. Of course, White can develop the knight and strike the center. White can go knight c3 and delay this move. That's called the closed Sicilian, whereas this is the open. Or White can go d4 straight away. Now, the drawback of this is that you're likely not going to take with the queen. But actually nowadays, people take with the queen all the time, believe it or not. It is actually possible to take with the queen. But this move, c3, is known as the Smith-Mora gambit, one of the most aggressive openings in chess. Now, already you are likely guessing that this is past a certain rating. Because if you're like 500, you probably play knight f3, bishop c4, try to go for the same thing, or you try to play a scholar's mate. But here we have the Smith-Mora gambit, the idea of which is that Black wins a pawn in the opening. Black has taken 2 pawns, White has only taken 1. But White has more development, more open lines, etc. You sort of help White develop. And Black plays knight c6. So far, all that's happened is the players have moved pawns and knights, which is exactly how chess should be played. And now White plays knight f3. Now, if I was to ask you, what is the natural move for Black in this position? Many of you would develop a pawn or a knight, but already Black makes a slight mistake. Black plays the move e5. This is a bad move. It looks very normal because why wouldn't you put a pawn out in the middle so far? I mean, you put this pawn out in the first move. Not good, because here this bishop wants to go to c4, and now we'll have a direct line of sight at the pawn on f7, which is only guarded by the king. The better move is e6, actually anticipating that this will happen and preemptively blocking, and then Black can develop the bishop and the knight over here, or even over here, and the game goes on. But after e5, White just gets a very good position. Black now develops the knight and is already nearly lost due to this knight to g5 idea, which is very similar to the idea in the fried liver. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5, right? Only the version that we have in this game is actually supercharged because White has more development, right? And Black cannot really get away with the move d5. Now, d5 is the only move. It is the only move in the position. Why? Because what you would do is you would block the bishop. If the bishop were to take, you would just take it. That would be chill. But if the pawn takes, the bishop is blocked, and Black would move the knight. And at least Black would escape danger. If White tried to reactivate, Black would then block, and the game would go on. So, Black has to play the move d5. As you could see from what happens, Black does not do that. Black goes here. Now, Black is lost, okay? We have made it 7 moves in the game. Black is completely lost now. Black will lose at least a rook. At least. And probably more. It seems like Black thought that they were playing a Traxler counterattack. So in the fried liver, in a different opening, there is this line, bishop c5, knight f7, kaboom. The Traxler counterattack. An excellent opening. Traxler. I think Black thought that's what they were playing, and after knight takes f7, White is now up a pawn and forking the queen and the rook. When the queen moves anywhere, you take, and it's actually really bad because you can just get out. There's no way to block you escaping. But of course, that would not be the end of the game. Black decides, oh, I'm lost. Time to go out with a bang. Kaboom! Bishop takes f2. Everybody knows that when you're about to lose a queen or a rook, you should also lose a bishop. Bishop takes f2 check, sending in the bishop to perish, simply to distract white somehow. Now, there actually was an idea behind this move, and the idea is that after king takes bishop, which is the best move, you have queen b6. Queen b6 is chill. Nice move. It's an attack on the king, and you escape danger. Now, the best move for white is to move the king forward. That's a little insane. You could go exactly back to where you were, and the only thing you need to look for when your king is on the run is, does my opponent have another check? And if I make a move guarding the check, do they have a threat? Now, white thinks for a long time and goes bishop here, which is not the best move because it stops guarding that pawn, and queen takes b2 now is another check, and the knight is hanging. That's exactly what happens. Black plays queen takes b2. Now, white has to save the king and the knight. White can do that a few ways. White can move the knight to block, but that's bad, because the knight is guarding the pawn, the queen is guarding that square, and if you go here, you're just going to allow yourself to more of a counterattack. You could just go queen d2. And that actually just guarantees you're going to trade. If knight g4, you move the king somewhere, you're going to trade some pieces. Of course, that is not what happens. White spots this is hanging, and this is hanging, and is like knight e2, super chill. That's not the best. It's not the best because now black can take a pawn with a check, and black can play what looks even more annoying is this. And now white is in some trouble, because white has to move the king forward. There is simply no alternative. But that is, again, not the end of the story. In these videos, it is very rarely the end of the story. White plays king to f3, simultaneously defending the bishop, which was the only move, and actually attacking the knight, believe it or not. Now, black here should probably take the bishop. I understand that when you are losing in chess, when you are down material, which black is about to be down material, it actually doesn't feel like it, but is about to be down quite a lot of material, because the king is just right here. It doesn't feel that way. You can trade, because with a king in the middle like this, white could lose at any moment, really. You keep giving checks with the queen, then you move your rook. Now, after king f3, black panics. Black sees that the rook is hanging and is like, well, the king's right here. And black's like, wait a minute, I can castle. Now, whether black knew that or just got insanely lucky, in this position, black plays short castle. Putting a little pressure on the knight, you cannot castle through a check, but there is no check here. The knight is not checking the king. Now, this is free. Taking it, however, is bad. But, of course, it's going to get taken, obviously, because white just went here. That's what white is looking at. White could not care less about anything else happening in the position. But if you take this knight, you walk directly into the line of sight of this bishop by accident. And obviously, that wouldn't quite work out for you. The best move in the position is unfindable. The top move, which is 4.2 advantage, is queen d6 with the simple idea of blocking the pawn from ever moving. That's difficult. And then you're going to play here and try to set up an attack on the rook. This permanently disables the black position from activating itself. Anyway, white goes here. White now has a 4-point material advantage, but gets absolutely walloped with the move d5 check. And everything's going to go out the window now. So the king is under attack, the bishop is under attack, and that means the bishop is no longer guarding the knight. So black is fully back into the game. Now, what does a normal person do here? Probably step back. At minimum, step to the side. To the side, you know? All right, I mean, going back is chill because you're safe. You're with your own pieces, which are going to protect you. They are sworn to protect you. Alternatively, you can spend 7 seconds and move forward. King h5 is purely for the memes. King h5 is an adrenaline type of moment, right? This is an insane move. Not to mention the fact, which I will absolutely mention the fact, that's a light squared bishop. You guys need to improve your survival skills. Put it at least on a dark square. Now, this move wouldn't really work because you're going to get hit with h6 check. And this doesn't work because but anyway, king h5, dc4. So somehow here, white is not lost. I don't understand how that's possible. I mean, there is no... I don't get how white is not just lost on the spot. But apparently, you have to go rook to f1. So you just leave this knight there. That knight can be taken. Most of us would move the knight to safety. But you don't have time to move the knight right now. If you move the knight like here, you will lose. Because why is the king on h5? It doesn't matter the rest of the position. There's no immediate danger, but the king will fall. So you have to go rook f1. The only move in the position is rook f1, because if they take your knight, you take, you check with the queen, and now you are in time to bring your rook, and then you are in time to bring your bishop. And by some sort of miracle, your king survives, and this king does not. This king is going to get mated with rook f8. So rook f1 is the move. Of course, that is not going to happen. Of course, that's not going to happen. White goes here. White is setting up queen to d5 check with a direct attack on the king, and then the king would run to the corner. Now, if I'm playing with black here, honestly, I'm not sure what the best move is. I'm always going to look at this check, and then I'm like, well, if the king goes there, like, really? Surely that's not possible. You can also do what's called weaving a mating net. You can play rook to f6, which sets up rook to h6, checkmate. And after queen to d5, you just have to calculate king h8, but then there's knight f7. So the best move is actually bishop e6, hitting the queen, and if you get taken, don't forget your knight was hanging, and now you would obviously lose. So I would play maybe rook to f6. Knight goes back to g5, black plays the human move, and it's the wrong move. And white has a 50-50 choice of where to move the king. One is better, and one is better for the How to Lose a Chess series. Which one do you think white played? Of course, white went here. Now, again, how is this position equal? How? How is this possible? I'm going to explain it to you now. In chess, the two most important metrics for who has a better position are material and king safety. In this position, white has a 1-point material advantage. It's a knight, and black has 2 pawns. So it's knight for 2 pawns. Now, when you compare the king safety, surely black's king looks safer. But there is actually no way to attack the white king for at least 2 turns. Dare I say, there is no way to attack the king for almost 3. The only way would be to go queen b4, queen e7, queen g7. And actually, by then, white strikes first. Somehow, white is actually closer to attacking the black king, which is incredible. So the position is dynamically balanced. Now, you must prevent queen to d5, which is why rook d8 is the best move. And then what the computer wants is to go here threatening this, and I'm not even joking, it wants to repeat and maybe make a draw, which is crazy. And if rook f8, it actually starts considering sacrificing a knight to attack here, or here, losing the queen and threatening mate like this. I mean, this is absurd. Absurdity. Now, in the game, black is like, well, I need to guard queen d5 check, so I'm going to go here, and that move loses instantly. That move is just game over. Why? The knight guards this. So what do you do to the knight? I mean, white would win if white gets to play queen to d5. So, like, if queen d5 were to happen and king h8, white would then go knight f7 and slowly win the game. Or quickly. So, knight e7 comes in. You need to remove it to get this move. What should you play? Everybody who is watching this right now, pay attention. Just tune. Hey, look at the TV, look at the laptop, bring back the phone. What do you play here to remove the knight as a guard of the d5 square? And there is no checkmate threat, right? You attack the knight. Not because you can, because it's impossible to even protect it. There's no way to guard the knight. Bishop e7 ends the game. Because you're going to go here and then here. Like, black can get some counterplay. You take, they take, queen d5, king h8. Everything wins. Everything is winning here. Bishop f6 check is winning. They cannot prevent multiple checkmates along the 7th rank because the queen is so far offside. Right. You won't guess the move white played here. I mean, white's move just makes me so angry. Like, everything, at least go here. Queen d6 is terrible, but at least it makes more sense. It's terrible because you want to go here and here, but you stop guarding this, and actually, you get mated first. Because your freaking king is on h6, idiot. Anyway, the move white plays in this game, after thinking for 22 seconds, what went on in here? Knight takes h7. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, that move is actually still not even bad. It's not even bad. It's +2. Why is it +2? Because white now has a 2-point material advantage, but more than anything, it's actually black's king who is weaker. What constitutes a weak king? It is a king that is closer to being attacked. Like, white's king sleepwalked. I mean, he's asleep and he walked to the other side of the board, but somehow he is in no danger because none of black's pieces can pose a threat. This queen needs to get back. It needs to get back as fast as possible. But black, in this position, is like, well, my rook is hanging. So I should probably defend my rook, right? Wrong. No. None of the moves in this game are guessable. Black is like, if I move my rook anywhere, I lose it. Look, rook f7, queen d8. That's actually why this happened. Maybe. And if rook e8, knight f6. So black is like, okay, I can't move my rook. I need to get counterplay. So here comes my counterplay. Kaboom. I kind of like it. Not gonna lie to you. Kind of like it. The next 10 total moves of this game make no sense. So the game is over after each side plays 5 more moves, which kind of makes sense. You know, you're getting late in a movie, late in a show, the end is coming. I feel like a lot of shows now in 2025, 2026, the last episodes are really rushed. This one, it's clearly coming to a conclusion. So, you went here to attack the rook. It's probably time to take the rook, right? No, wrong. Bishop to g5. Why? Like, okay, I get it. Maybe. You take here? Is that like, it's the same idea? But why now? You just went here to take the rook. I mean, it's not rocket science. Just take the rook. Take the rook and then move on. Now, you've actually blocked in your king now, so you used to have a getaway square. Now, bishop g5 attacks this, right? So if black goes rook f7 now, rook f7 not only guards the knight, rook f7 threatens mate. Rook f7 gets the knight out of the attacking of the rook. Rook f7, you gotta go rook f7, right? Rook f7. It's not, rook f7, if I take the knight, I take this and then I take this. Like, it's not, I mean, you gotta go, no, black goes here. Obviously, black has to see through the mission. Black developed the bishop to take the knight. Duh. Now, white actually plays a good move. So it's one of the only moves that makes sense here. So you can't take this, you can't take this. Let's move the queen as far as possible. Queen d7, good move. Good move. Black sees that the knight is hanging. Sees that the rook is hanging. Plays rook f7. Now this is protected, kind of, and that's mate. Now we have a pop-off moment. Most people would go here. But after this, there is actually nothing. Not only is there nothing, black is just instantly winning, which is amazing. I don't really know why. Probably knight g8 check is just unstoppable somehow, right? So in this position, white actually pins the rook to the queen, to the king. So the rook can't take. Black, seeing this, brings the queen back to b6. Because you need to trade to get this pin off. And if this is mate. White does not blunder that and plays knight to f6 check. And now the conclusion of the goofiest game that you and I have seen in quite some time. Black can go king f8 or king h8. If king f8, that's a fork, and you at least win the queen. Now, you do have to be careful, because if king f8, knight d7, king e8, and you take the queen, gotta remember that looked like mate before, but it's no longer mate. And if the king is there, right? So, knight f6 check. If here, if here, you take and you win. King h8, you take and you win. White now spends 2 seconds and goes knight to d7. Knight to d7 simultaneously hangs a queen and mate in 1. And both of these players are rated 2,000.